Okay, welcome back to Hanger 51. So this video got way longer than I expected. So I'm going to do a little introduction so that if you don't want to stick around for the whole rant about the new K1C, you can just skip to the comments at the bottom. I'm going to list all the printers that I would recommend if this one's out of your price range or if this isn't your cup of tea. I have a list of um, the ones I passed on. I was going to buy one of these. These are the ones I was considering, and then I decided that this was the one I wanted. So if you don't want to watch this me talk about how great this thing is, the K1C, then you can just skip to the comments, and I'm going to list everything that I would have picked had I not picked this one. And I want to touch on a couple more things real quick. So another thing, things to consider when you're looking at printers, guys. Bed slinger and internal, a closed cabinet versus a core machine and a open air. These are some of the things you need to think about. Another thing is, do you like to be on the internet? Will your printer work off the internet? I personally don't like to be on the internet at all. I have 7 laptops, and all of them have DVD drives. You can still get a computer with a DVD drive. You just have to order it. Most of the stores don't carry one in stock. They've all gone to dedicated to the internet. I don't want to be dedicated to the internet. And I'll tell you why. Perfect example was I took a flight to Chicago one day, and I knew it was a couple-hour flight. So I brought my laptop with me with a movie, and I got to watch a movie on the plane that I would not have been able to do had I been married to the internet, because I couldn't use the internet on the airplane. Now this was years ago. You might be able to now, but this was many years ago. But meanwhile, I still don't want to be married to the internet. So I don't want my printer married to the internet. So consider that. Another thing, I happen to know this one offhand, but I don't know about the others. The Bambu series printers, the P1P, the P1S, and the X1 carbon, all use a mini SD card, and so you have to have a mini SD card reader, and also it won't support a card larger than 32 gig. Okay, so I don't know if that's a deal breaker for you or not, but and you can't take the card out of the printer while it's printing. It will stop the print. The Creality K1C, obviously it's still printing because you can take the drive out of. This is a thumb drive. This is a 2 terabyte thumb drive. And I'd say I'll never fill this, but I've said that like 18 times over since the 70s when I first got my computer, that I'll never fill up that drive, and then I always do. So, but this is a 2 terabyte thumb drive that the machine has no trouble reading, and it will continue to print if you pull the drive out. So once the print starts, you can remove the card and go, put more stuff on it or whatever you want to do. It's not married to the card. It's self-contained. It'll print without it, and it'll handle 2 terabytes at least. It might handle more. Where the Bambu is a mini SD card, you need a mini SD card reader, and it won't support a card bigger than 32 gig. So just a quick synopsis on that. Other than that, I'm going to just let you decide whether you want to stick around and watch the video, or just go to the comments and watch take the links that I have down there to send you out for other reviews. So, all right, so let's get on with the video. Okay, welcome back to Hanger 51. I'm going to do an update on the Creality K1C printer. As you can see, I've been busy. There's 38 prints on the table. Been 1 week. In 1 week, I did 38 prints. It's been running a lot. And I have to tell you, everything is unbelievably beautiful. My Ender 3, if you didn't see that video, it'll be up here. And my original Ender video will be up over here if you want to watch those. But I highly recommend you go watch last week's show because it's a prelude to this week's show. So everything's printed perfectly. I know there's a lot of gold on the table because, well, first of all, everything looks good in gold and makes it look like a trophy, and everything printed so well. And I'm going to show you up close. If you look right here at this camera here, I'm going to make it big, and that's a close-up. And I'm going to give you a close-up of everything I printed so you can see the quality of the prints. So this is all PL. This is silk. The gold is all silk PLA plus. The blue here is transparent. This is all PETG, PETG. So that's all the blue is PETG. The yellow here is PLA. I think just standard PLA. I got a couple of those and one printing, and that one will be ready by the time the show's done. I'll pull it out of the printer. I've had a few failures, all my fault, and I'll show you why they were my fault. But I've had a few failures, not many, and even the failures, once I tell you what they were, totally my fault. So the printer's just been amazing. The Creality software that I'm running with it. Listen, before I get any further in the prints, I want to tell you there's an option in the Creality print that's not in any other. At the timing of making this video, no other slicer has this capability. Creality print's the only one that does. If you put 9 vases on your plate and one of them fails, Creality print has the ability for you to click on that one and tell the printer to ignore it, and it will stop printing that one and can keep printing the other 8. It's the only slicer that I know of. And comment at the bottom if there's another one, and I'm sure everybody's going to do it eventually. But at the moment, that's the only one I know of that has that capability. And if you're printing multiple items on your plate, you know how frustrating it is when you have a fail, and you have to either let it run and have spaghetti where that one is, which you're in danger of the spaghetti getting wrapped around something else and taking something else out. So you can either stop the print, throw everything away, start over, or you can let that one keep going and possibly pause the print to get the spaghetti out of there so it doesn't get in anything else, but it's going to keep printing that spaghetti. And Creality actually has a piece in there that you can actually tell the print to ignore that one. You highlight it and ignore it, and it won't print that one anymore. It'll just print the rest. So that's a big game changer for any of you print farm guys, any of you guys that do this and sell it. Big win there. And I'm sure all the other slicers are going to get it eventually. But as I'm making this video, I don't think any of the other ones do. Not yet, but they will. What else can I tell you? Well, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to switch the camera over. And I'm going to just put stuff up close. Well, I think I'm going to be switching back and forth. So let me move this stuff away from the camera over here. This camera is the one we're going to be showing everything in. So let me move a few of these out of the way. Okay. Not yet. Hang on. I'll put these over here. Let me get this out of the way. Okay, we're clear here. Okay, all right. So I'm going to start with a couple of vases first. So this is done in that silk PLA plus. Okay, and it came out really nice. Naturally, you can see some layer lines in it. That's typical. But let me hang on. Let me get the camera switched here. I'm going to move this over. I think this will work. Let me put it right here. And we'll move the mouse up here so I can do this. Okay, so here's the quality of this. I mean, it's just beautiful. Okay, and it's just, it did such a beautiful job. The bottom of it's perfect. You know, the inside, the print lines are almost not even recognizable. And just so you know, okay, so I put the good camera from last week here. This is the good camera. Okay, the other camera, this camera is the laptop camera. So I understand. Oh, you know what? Let me hang on a second. I'm gonna turn some more lights on. I keep forgetting to turn the other lights on. Let me go this way. Go over here. Turn this one on. And turn this one on. That's enough. I have one more set of lights on, but they don't need to be on. That'll be all right. Okay. So anyway, so that's so this is the silk smooth print. Okay. And I'm going to take these off the table as I show them so I'll have more room to work around. Now, this is done in what they call fuzzy mode, okay? And as you can see here, it's got a texture to it. All right, so there's a thing. Creality Print in 5.1, I could not find vase mode. So if you know where vase mode is in Creality 5.1 and you're watching this, please comment at the bottom where it was. I've upgraded to 6, and I went right as soon as I upgraded to 6.0. I went right to where vase mode should be, and there it was. So it wasn't there before, but it is there now. And if I'm wrong, please tell me. I couldn't find it anywhere. Drove me nuts. I wanted to print some vases, I couldn't do it. So let me switch the camera back. So now this is what this texture looks like. So now. You know how it does this is all it does is it shakes the printer head, you know, the extruder head. It just shakes it and it makes it do this. Look at that crazy, you know, texture it puts in the. Doesn't use any more filament to do this. It just makes it, you know, look crazy, like a, you know. And if this was in white or a tan color, it would look like stone. You know, like the thing was carved out of a rock. But what a beautiful, and all the lines are perfectly straight. There's no heat dismemberment. I'm going to show you one of those in a second here. It just came out perfect. So that's fuzzy mode. So there's a fuzzy mode. It's in the, all the slicers have fuzzy mode. Just look for it. It should be near the vase mode. It'll ask you if you want fuzzy, and then it asks you if you want inner walls, outer walls, you know, that kind of thing. Okay, so now this is it's the same vase again in PLA. Now this I'm not really happy with this filament, and I'm printing this one again. And if it does the same thing it did here, and it looks like it is, yeah, it's doing the same thing. It looks like it's even doing it worse. So I don't know why. I'm probably going to send this filament back. I've only printed a couple of things. I don't like it. So this is going to be a brand I didn't get. I'll try to link all of the brands I'm using, where I got the gold. I got the gold from Amazon. I got this PETG at Amazon. I believe this. I think this came from Amazon too, but I don't like this stuff, and I'll show you why. So this is a. Okay, so if you see here, do you see these ripples right here? You know, they're not supposed to be there. Okay, and it's it's a temperature thing, and I thought it was a temperature thing because it was cooling, or too hot. So I opened the door to print the replacement one of these, and it got worse. So apparently it's not hot enough. Now it's only 45 degrees out here in my garage, so that could be part of the problem. So we'll try it again on a hot day, but I'm not too particularly fond of that. But other than that, it's a good print. The bottom's beautiful. Well, actually, the bottom did not come out good at all either on this. You can see right there, it's not a hole, but it's only one layer thick. For some reason, it wasn't sticking. I increased the heat on that, and that fixed that problem. So maybe increasing the heat would fix the upper problem. You know what? I'm going to do that right now. Let me put the heat up on this and see if it makes it better. Okay, so we'll heat it up and see if that makes any difference. If it goes away, then I'll know. All right. So anyway, so that's this this filament I'm not too particularly crazy about. So we'll get rid of that one. And then this is the same thing again. Same print. I printed another one of these vases, and you can see we don't have those ripples here. This is perfect. Okay, so the filament is, they were printed on the exact same file. So, obviously, the different filaments react differently to temperature. So you have to find filaments you like. So that's just one more piece of the puzzle, guys. When you want to get into 3D printing, this is what you have to deal with. You have to, check, test different filaments and see if they work or not. So, okay, so let's see. I think I'm going to do the Eiffel Tower next. So this came out really well. I'm very, very happy with this. All the same gold filament, all this stuff, this gold stuff. So there's a lot of detail in that, and I'm going to show you here. So you see all the inner structure, the webbing, even in here. It's very delicate webbing in there, and it printed it so well. The little verticals here, all the structure inside there, all the way up to the tower, all that intricate webbing in there. Just amazing, guys, that it prints all that so well. And then look at the detail under here. Just even under here, see the detail right there, and then all the way up to the top. And there's actually, trying to get that focus right in here even. You can't get that. There's striping vertically here in that opening, and I can't get it to show up on the camera. I think it's going to go out of focus and get that close. Yeah. But anyway, and then the top, it's got a little ball on the top. So just amazing. So I printed 2 of those. Everything is totally repeatable. If it prints it right the first time, it'll print it again and again and again. I've done 3 of the dragons. Okay, and you know what? Hang on a second. Let me put the camera back. I did all that in the wrong camera. Okay, so Yeah, so you see all the detail in there? You know, across here, you know, right here, and then down here, the webbing here, all the inner structure, the crisscross inner structure. Just amazing, guys. This is just such a beautiful, beautiful print. All the inner structure in there, this tiny little Xing inside there on all four sides, and then up at the top there, there's some vertical lines in here that you aren't really showing up on the camera. And then the ball on the top and all that. So just beautiful. So let me get the other Eiffel Tower off the table so we can move on to the next one. Let's see. Let's do R2-D2. Now here's one of my fails. And it was my fault. So, and I haven't tried any other thing, and this is a trick I'm going to do a video next week on tricks on how to save filament and you know, what you can do to help yourself to not wasting so much filament. So this printed beautifully, all right? All the details really pretty good. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. Okay? But there was a ton of filament waste because I had to fill this whole cavity here with filament to hold this, you know, this bottom here. And if you don't, you know, there's nowhere for it to, you know, print. So I did a print without that, and that's what this is. So, you know, going back to the camera, you know, it looks fine like this. You know, I mean, you know, literally, if you're looking at these two side by side from the front, you know, they look fine. You know, they look just fine. There's, you know, but the problem with this is that this area on the bottom that you can't see. Now this one is, I'll show you. We're gonna switch the camera back, and you see here, there's a hole in it. Now that's the infill in there. That's another thing we're going to talk about. Is how much infill do you need? You know, how much structural strength do you need inside this thing? You don't need very much. This is. You could go less to this, but this is only like 3%. It defaults at usually about 15%. You don't need 15%. Okay, 15% looks like this, and you don't need that much. It's ridiculous. It's a waste of filament. So don't do that. You know, 1-2%, plenty. Okay, but you see, without the support, I printed this without support, and the only thing that failed was there. Everything else is fine. Everything else looks good. This is all fine. You know, his head's good. Even the top of his head printed really well. You know, no problem there. You know, everything else the same as the other one, just the bottom because I didn't put support in it. So with the support. Oh, excuse me. That's what you get. You know, it's just very. Now you can see inside there because it's so thin. It looks like a pie, you know, like a pie cut, right? Because that's only 1% fill. That's all you need. Okay, this was like 3%, and that was too much. So I knocked it down to 1%. So now it's just a pizza cut. You know, there's what, 6 slices of pizza there. That's all you need. It's plenty. And you can't, you can't see that looking at the camera's picking that up because I'm getting it in the shade just right. So, but normally it just looks like this. Let me get it. Yeah, it's just shiny like that. You don't see that. If I get it in the light right, you can see it. But if you're just looking at this, you can't see that. So don't waste time with film. Fill. You don't 1, 2, 3%. That's all you ever need on anything. It just doesn't need it. All right, so let me get these out of the way. And all this came from Thingiverse. I didn't buy any of these prints. They're all Thingiverse. They're all just Thingiverse stuff, except this. This is another Creality. This is the spool holder that bolts on the side of the printer, which I did first. That was the very next thing I printed was a white one. So then I decided to do a gold one because the word Creality, came out really cool looking on the gold. And if you look, there's a pattern in this print. You see the, it's supposed to be in there. They've got it boxed off. They could have easily made that smooth. They wanted that in there for some reason. It kind of looks cool. It's got a pattern to it. So, but yeah, so that's another spool holder. I printed that just for the looks. Okay. I started to show you the dragon. I really didn't get into that. We'll do it now. So look at the detail here. He's got a fang right there on his tooth coming out. He's got teeth up front here. He's got nostrils in his nose. He's got pupils in his eyes. Okay, if you look in the eyes, there's a pupil there. You see how it's shining, the pupil there? It's literally it's in there. So if I wanted to paint this, to detail it, there's the nostrils are there, and the pupil in the eye. There's so much detail. Look at the scales on these, and it just shines. This is like jewelry, guys. It is so beautiful. It feels like jewelry. It looks like jewelry. This is the coolest dragon that's on Thingiverse. And it's easy to find this one. It's about on page 5. The background is 2 of them in the picture, and the background's all red. Very Chinese, Chinese dragon look to it, okay? So the whole background is red with these 2 golden dragons in the picture. So pretty easy to find. Look at the tail. Look at this tail. I mean, the detail is unbelievable on this stuff, guys. And it just does such a great job, of printing this stuff. Now there's a texture on the top of his tail. That's not let me see if I can get that so you can see it. It's not print lines. There's a texture on it. I can't get it to show up. It's like a hatch. Well, it's kind of showing up on this one right here. There's a texture to it. It's really cool. So anyway, and all the legs are fully articulating. All right. So there's 3 joints on each leg. That's 12 joints just in the legs, and then there's 36 vertebrae, I believe, is what I counted. So that's 40. That's 50 moving parts. It's just beautiful. And he's holding a ball. I don't know what kind of ball he's holding there, but he's holding some kind of ball in his claw there. And you can see the detail in the claw. I mean, you can actually see the skin, the ripples in the skin, and then where the claw nail comes out of the bed of the nail, out of the detail is unbelievable, guys, and this printer is printing it perfectly. Okay, so we'll put the 3 lizards over there. Okay, so here's now this I printed 3 of these. This is the Millennium Falcon. Let me go back here for a second. So I've got a small Millennium Falcon and a bigger one. Now this one's the stock size. It prints. I think that was the stock size. I think it came out at that size. And then this is as big as the K1C can print. This is the 250 high. It prints in this position, straight up. Okay? And when you're done printing it, it will stand straight up. They stand on their end. You can lay them down if you want. There's 2 versions. This one doesn't have the satellite dish on it. It's got a little piece of it, but it's not there. And then the big one I printed with the dish. So you can see the big satellite dish here on it. And I'll put it on camera here. So there's the detail in the dish. And then all the detail on here. Look at this. This is amazing. Okay? It's just all the little intricate, the 4 gun, the gun here is all, 4 barrels. It's on the bottom too. They got the 4-barrel gun on the bottom. And that one. So this one fell on the floor and it broke. and I didn't catch that the guns were broke. Let me, that's all right, I got another one. That's why I printed this one over. So here's the same one, I printed it again. All right, and here are the guns on the bottom that aren't broke. So, and just all the shuttle bay door here and over here, same thing on both sides. And, you know, the only place, there's detail everywhere. I mean, the vents in the back, I mean, everything. And, you know, you can't see any lines. The print lines are almost undetectable. It just prints so beautiful. The only part is right there, because that's what sat on the bed, and that's what makes it stand up. So you've got a little bugger on the back, but that gives it the ability, you know, to stand up, just like that. So, yeah, you got to make sacrifices somewhere. This is the way you want to print it for a couple of reasons, but mostly you use the least amount of waste support. It uses very little support when you print it this way. And I'll get into that in a minute here, how much difference that does make. Okay, so let me put this one down. And then here's the little one. And all the details here on the little one too. Same exact detail. The 4 guns, all the, you know, the vents, the little vents and everything. There's no difference in the quality whatsoever. They're identical, except you have a choice of printing it with or without the dish. I didn't know what that would look like, so I printed one with and then one without to see the difference. So, oh, I must have dropped this one too. This one's broke too. The guns on the bottom are broke. So I'll have to fix that. But, yeah, so just unbelievable, guys. This stuff is really, really just beautiful. And you can scale it to any size you want. You can take it all the way down to matchbox size. If you've got a bigger bed than mine, you can make it bigger than mine. You just scale it up and down, and you make it any size you want. So, okay, so here's now this is the Pet G, okay, and this is that wrinkle, the what do they call it? The fuzzy finish. So on camera here, it sparkles. I mean, just look at that. Okay, so let's get up close and look at this. And this is see-through, right? It's clear. You can see my hand inside here. You know, so light will shine right through this, and it just puts this beautiful wrinkle finish on it, this fuzzy finish, and this hides all the uglies. If you've got something you're trying to print that doesn't come out very well, this is your game changer right here. You just put it, and it doesn't have to be a vase. You can put the fuzzy on anything. They usually put it right next to vase mode, but you can click fuzzy on any print you're doing without clicking vase mode, and it'll do the same finish on flat. You know, anything if you're doing a box and you want a texture on the box, you put it in fuzzy mode, and it'll put this texture on it, and your box will look like this. So if you don't want to see layer lines at all, because you can't see layer lines in this, that completely hides them. There's no way you're going to find a layer line in this. They don't exist. And so this is really cool. And it just stands up, and you know, just a beautiful, beautiful print. And the bottom is very nice. You can see there are layer lines on the bottom, of course, but that's normal. But yeah, just a beautiful print. So my whole time with the Ender 3, I couldn't get anything to stick to the bed. I mean, nothing would stick to the bed. It was the biggest fight of my life, trying just to get something to stick to the bed. This is just the opposite. Everything sticks to the bed, and I've had a few that stuck so good I couldn't get them off. I kept hearing people say they can't get shit off the bed. I said, are you kidding me? How in the world are you not being able to get things off the bed? You got to be shitting me. That can't be possible. I mean, I don't know what you're doing, but you can't be doing it right if you can't get it off the bed. I mean, with the 7 years you know, the 7 years of me fighting, trying to get something to stay on the bed, you know, to have something come off the bed, you know, not be able to come off the bed, just didn't register. Well, I finally experienced that. You know, there you go. You know, we gotta. So I couldn't get it off the bed. Now it wasn't I couldn't get it off the bed. Again, my fault. What had happened was. This stuff sticks so good that when you cool it down, it still doesn't want to come off the bed. So I had the bed down to freezing, literally, and it wouldn't come off. And I just started tugging, and it just broke the filament. I mean, I was tugging pretty hard, and I was flexing the plate and pulling at the same time, and it just broke free. And I'm like, okay, my bad. So that was a fail, my fault. I find, you know. So how I got this off was bed. I heated the bed to 100 degrees, and I had a brim on it. And I'll show you what a brim is. Okay, so this is a brim. You see this X? I would put a brim on anything you're printing, guys. I'll just put it on there because it just makes sure that it'll stay on the bed. It's a very thin layer that just widens out your footprint when you're printing, okay? Instead of it looking like this, no brim, okay? With a brim, you get that bottom piece there, and then it peels right off, you know? So you can take the brim off, you know, and again, you got to be careful. Use your nippers, you know. If it gets stuck, you know, it'll require a little bit of cleanup, but it will come right off, okay? So you just break it off, you know, use your nippers and clean it up a little bit, and you're good to go, okay? So that was one fail. This isn't a fail, but this is, while I'm here, I'm going to show you how good this, now that yellow filament worked fine on this print, you know, no problem. This printed beautiful. There's no problem with this at all. It's a very nice yellow color, and it's perfect. You know, even the bottom, which is dirty because I had it on the floor, but I mean, even the bottom's perfect. You know, there's nothing, no kind of problem. And I've tested all of these. Everything holds water, guys. None of my, I didn't check my last one, the one good print I had on the ender. I haven't checked it, but I'm sure it'll hold water. But none of my other vases hold water. None of them. Everything you see on the shelf back there, none of that holds water. It's just like none of the enders would hold water, but these will. Every one of these is perfect. So this is another very nice, beautifully done, you know, just a beautiful print. The bottom's perfect in this one. Inside and out, just beautiful. So again, no lines. You can't see any print lines at all. You know, guys. I can't say enough good things about this printer. It's amazing. I mean, it's absolutely amazing, this printer. So this is a Chrysler building. Let me go back here. Okay. I don't know if you guys saw the movie Passengers. Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence. She made some comment in the give me a view of the Chrysler building and a cup of coffee, and she could write all day. She was a writer, and so I really like that movie, and so I thought I'd print Jennifer Lawrence a Chrysler building. So that's what this is, and it happened to be on Thingiverse. Beautiful, really came out beautiful. Let me show you the close up here. All the towering effects, you know, from all the different levels, and how well they printed, how clean the lines are. There's some layering lines in this a little bit, but down here there's actually lines that look like windows. If you look here, they kind of look like windows. They're right there. You see down here, this kind of looks like it has windows in it, right? So I love that. I love the way that looks. And I don't know if you guys know the Chrysler building or not, but the back of the building, in the front, I guess, I don't know, I guess this is the front, is perfectly flat, straight, okay? you know, across here, but the back is at an angle. It's got a 45 cut to it. You see there? I didn't know that until I printed this. So that's one side of the building. It's got that cut in it. It's 45 it, but the front is flat, you know, symmetrical. And there's all these layers, and then there's that indent in here, and just amazing. You know, all the way to the, you know, it's got the lightning rod on the top, and so that printed in one piece, and those are beautiful. I love those. Let me put these over here, off camera. So I printed 2 of those. Again, repeatable. Everything's repeatable. Everything looks as good as it did. So here's same thing again. Another of the same. You know, I got 2 of these in the fuzzy print, and then I've got this one. Really, this one blew my mind. All right, let me go here first. So this one looks like glass. Okay, I mean, this is just, if you've ever seen, not blown glass, but glass that they put in a mold. So to get a print or a real glass vase that looked like this, it would be produced in a mold. It would probably be blown up. They put it in the mold, blow it up until it formed into all these grooves, and then they pull it out of there and let it cool. And that's the only way you can. And when you do that, you'll see a pattern in the glass. It's very faint. You have to get the light right, but you'll see a pattern in it. It's not, when they blow glass freehand, there's no pattern because it never touches anything. And the glass is crystal clear and unobstructed. But when they put glass into a mold, like they would have to do this, it's going to have a line in it, you know, like and this has got the most beautiful lines in it. These aren't layer lines, people. This is let me get up close and show you. This is I don't know if it's going to show up. Okay, so you can see some layer lines there, but that's not what I'm talking about. There's vertical lines. Let me see if I can. Yeah, right there. You can start to see the vertical lines going this way on this one here. Okay, and they follow the contour of the. And it's just, when you look at this, it just looks like a piece of glass. It's so beautiful. I don't know if I can get them. Yeah, you can kind of see them there. You know, they're vertical lines that are in it, not the horizontal print lines. And it's just such a beautiful color, blue. And, you know, and this is see-through again. This is totally transparent. And the bottom is absolutely perfect. Okay, and I mean, guys, this printer is amazing. It is absolutely amazing. All right, so maybe you can see, you can see them down here now. The vertical lines, right there, is just crazy. So this is one of my favorites. That's a real piece of art. Okay, so all right, so some of the waste is support, and sometimes you have to have it. So this Enterprise, this is Enterprise D for the Star Trek fans or non-Star Trek fans. So there was a regular 1701, then was 1701A, which is a refit, and then there was a well, that was actually, they refitted it, and then they had to rename. I think they renamed the Yorktown Enterprise after the original Enterprise was destroyed. And then there's a B, a C, which was barely covered in any of the episodes, but they did touch on the C. I don't know if they ever touched on the B. And this is the D, which is the next generation version. Okay. Now, when you buy this, or not buy it, but when you download it off of Thingiverse, let me put this right here, that tiny little circle right there, not the egg. The circle in the middle of the egg, you know, the oval. That's the only thing that touches the plate if you print it the way they want you to print it. They want you to print it this way. Okay? So you put it on the bed this way. All right? And then this is all fill, you know, support. So it fills all of this area with support, underneath the nacelles with support, underneath the whole saucer section, and then the support starts again here to support the molded on stand. So in this configuration, there's 35% waste in filament in support. Okay? So I didn't like that, and that was so that was this fail. That's how it starts off. That's all. Then that's going to go all the way up. Okay, but the problem is the little that little tiny oval in the middle of the bridge there came off the bed, because that was the only thing sticking to the bed. You know, that was part of the actual print. This is all throwaway support, right? So it made this beautiful little. So I stopped it and took it off because I thought this was cool as hell. That this is the support for the nacelles here, and the main, engineering section, and then the saucer section, and this is all support. All of this gets thrown away. You're not going to use any of this. This is just so that it can print the rest of it in this configuration, which is stupid. So I flipped it over this way. Tried printing it that way. So I sliced it. I didn't print it. So I sliced it, and I looked what it told me, and it said, now the support is 71% waste. I'm like, oh my God. Are you serious? So I was like, no, not doing that either. That's just ridiculous. And there's a little bit of edging here that needs cleaned up, but everything else is just really, really nice. It's very smooth, and there's some layer lines in it, but nothing I couldn't live with. Really looks good, and it has a little 1701 that's printed right into the stand, NCC 1701D. So that's kind of cute, and it printed that right on there as it printed. So what I did is I printed it this way. Okay, so standing up straight like this. And when I put it in this position and minimize the amount of support it was going to use, it was 13%. So I went from, I think it was 35 or 45 in this position, to 71 in this position, to 13 in this position. So this is the winner chicken dinner here, right? So I started to print, and it failed. So this is the fail. I got this far, and I had only, with the 13%, there wasn't enough support right here to continue printing the bridge. So it failed. The saucer section. It made it, both the cells finished, and we were mostly through, I think it was starting to print probably the radar dish there. And it failed. Yeah, boy, look at that. I didn't even really look at that before, but look at the, I don't know if I can, yeah, there it is. There's the dish inside there. That's nice. So anyway, I started to print the dish right there, and it failed because I didn't have enough support. So I had a little more support and went to 14%, and that worked perfect, except I ran out of filament. So I made it that far. Beautiful transition. There's the shuttle bay. No problem. I think those are aft torpedo launchers, I believe there, or that could be the impulse engines. I'm not sure, but and then there's the back of here on the top of the saucer section, and just it was pretty beautiful, and it ran out of filament. So that you're able to put more filament in on the fly, and I tried doing that, and I thought I had it in there. I got the old piece out, and I put the new piece in, and I extruded, and I thought it was fine, and I hit print, and it wasn't feeding. So it went like 2 layers before I caught it, stopped it, and I corrected it and tried it, and it was a loss. So that, again, my fault. I didn't catch the transfer right, and so again, a fail, but my fault. This isn't the printer's fault. This is my fault. not knowing how to use the, extrude. It says retract or extrude, and I tried, and messing with it, and I just did it wrong. So you learn. It's a new printer. I never, my first stuff. So that was the first time I ran out of filament on a print, and but so we move on, and then I had the final. I used the same 14% fill, support, and it printed perfect all the way through. No problems, no stop. Everything is just right on the money. Just beautiful. So, trying to get a better look at this radar dish in there. They call it a dish. They don't call it a radar dish. I forget what they call it. But anyway, so again, a fail, 2 fails, my fault, both of them. So okay, so then Empire State Building. Let's go here. So this prints in 2 pieces. So what I did with this one is I maximized this. So everything is this height. Okay, everything I print is the same height. Even the Millennium Falcon, same height. Okay, because that's the maximum height I can go on the bed, right? So everything's the same height. I take it to the max. It's 250, so you can go to 249.85. I think is the highest I've gotten it. R2D2, same thing. He's the same height. Everything is at that height. I maximize everything I print to utilize as much of the bed that I can. So everything is on the same height. But then I had to print, the antenna on the Empire State Building. So that's a separate piece, and that's the way it comes. And the one I picked it because of the detail in the windows, which I'm going to get to here now. This is incredible, guys. It really is. Oh, and that's how these break. I just broke this one. Right? This was the good one? No. Okay. Maybe setting them down on the guns is how they break. I don't know. But anyway, I digress. All right, so let me just set this down over here. And so look at the detail in this. This is amazing. The windows and the word Empire here is engraved and embossed. It's got like a riveting look to it. And it's tilted. It's angled. So it didn't print it flat. It's angled up. You see how the letters are at a V? They're angled up. So it says that made in USA on this side and Empire on this side. And all of these, look at the top of the shelf here is that nice pattern in it that it printed. And maybe I can get it from this side better. Yeah. So, and then it reliefed. It went to flat here, and then it started another indent right there. Right. So now this is indented all the way up, and it goes all the way up until it steps again here, and then again here, and then again here, and then there, and then the now they have this oriented laying down, and I'm like, no way, I ain't printing this laying down, especially something that has something round like this on it. You don't want to print that laying down. So print it this way, and it always comes out better this way. So I stood that up next to it, and I scaled them supposed to be the same size. I'm not positive that came out right, but it looks good. It's a little sloppy in there, though. I thought that was going to be a tight fit. So I might have got the scaling wrong, but it's close enough. It looks good. It doesn't hurt the look of it. So now that's taller than everything else because the antenna is tall. That's how much taller is the antenna, because that's the same height as everything else. And then we add that. That made it a little taller. So that makes this building a lot bigger. But I love the window detail and all the levels. It's just a beautiful print, guys. It really is. Even the even here on the bottom by the wording has a pattern, you know, like a hex pattern in it. I'll try to get it where you can see that. Too much reflection. Maybe over here. Anyway, I think you can see that. So, very cool. Really love that one. Okay, so... and then this... So, I was talking about the brim. Okay, so this is the brim for this. Okay? So, that's how it prints, right? You've got all that extra, you know, on the bed, you know, holding on to this. So that we were not just trying to... This is all secured to the bed. This is secured to the brim. So it prints like that. Okay? And then when you're done, you tear the brim off. So that's why you want to run a brim. And if it's not anything solid, even if it is, if you're worried about it failing and you don't want to waste filament, just put a brim on it. You're not going. This isn't even a penny's worth of filament, and this will ensure a print. Okay, you're not going to lose a brim that has a brim on it. I seriously doubt that could possibly happen. Even my lizards, the dragons, these all print with a brim on it. Around every, you know, the toes, everything, it's got a brim. And once you pull it off the bed, you got to tear all, you know, you got to clean all that off. But it makes it so worth it because you don't lose the print. You know, it always prints. So I like the brim. I don't like skirts and rafts. That's way too much filament, way too much hassle to get it off. The brim is much easier. So just use brim and you'll be fine. Okay, so what's left? I showed you all the fails. We looked at this a little bit last week. I'm going to give you a little more info on this. So these were fails. Again, my fault. I started off printing these, and I printed them all on one sheet. All of these. Okay, these four for the car, and you know, obviously they're way too big. And I knew they were too big, but I said, you know what, I'm gonna let them print anyway because it's, you know, it's a test, and I want to see how well it does the wheel detail. This, okay, and the detail's pretty good, but it's very hard to get all of this. Okay, all that fill, all that support. You got to dig it all out by hand, and it takes forever. And then even after that, you know, if you ended up, it gets torn up a bit. Now it's, you know, you can fix it. It's salvageable. I could put some filler in there, not Bondo, but, you know, something Bondo-ish, you know, and sand it. And, you know, you could clean this up because if you look in there, you can even see the lug nuts. Okay, so there's a lot of detail in there, but, you know, it's going to take a lot of cleaning up to make it pretty. And then there's a caliper in there and a rotor. You can see the caliper on the bottom there, right there on the bottom. You know, looks like a Brembo caliper. And the rotor's got, it's hard to see it, but there's, you know, drilled in slots. It's a drilled and slotted rotor, and all that detail's in there. And if you paint it, it'll show up. Now the backside doesn't have the detail in it. The caliper's there, but there's no detail on the bottom that shows up. I mean, well, I take that back. The slots are there, you know, kind of, but I don't see any of the drilled, but the slots are there. So anyway, so that's why I let those print, but they're basically a fail because I could I could print a car big enough to put these on. So I haven't thrown them away because I might do that, but at this point they're fails. So this was my attempt with no fill to print the right size to the car, which they're still not the right size. It's too big, but close. You know, we're pretty close here. Okay, but it's a little too big. So, trying to get that in the camera. Yeah, so it's just a little too big, not far off. Okay, so but you've got a big spider web, spaghetti between the without support between the spokes of the wheel and the rotor, because it tries to print. The first thing it's got to print once it gets up in there is this side of the the caliper, and there's nothing to hold the caliper, so it's printing in open air. There's nothing to hold the material up because there's nothing in there to support it. It's printing in this position, and then once it gets to the rotor, it's winding off this post, so the rotor can build, and then the back half of the caliper is there. Okay, so you can see the back half of the caliper is in there, but the front half isn't because there was no support. But then I didn't have to dig all that, I dug out the spaghetti, but I didn't have to cut all the, in here. You have to dig all of this out by hand, and it's pretty solid. So it's a big pain in the butt. And then, of course, I printed 2 wheels that do fit, and they fit correctly. The spoke, the diameter, it puts the hole in there for you automatically with a certain depth, and the pin is printed with the correct depth, so that the wheel, when you put it in here, has just the right offset to have a Hellcat, where the wheel's sticking just barely out of the fender, because that's the way they like that on a Hellcat. So what I'm probably going to do is, if I pursue this any further, is I'm going to file that pin down to get the wheel in farther, because I want the wheel in here. I don't like it out here like this. I want it in. So I can just shorten the pin, and then I'll be able to push the wheels in. So, but the quality of this is not that good, and it's not the printer. This is just the file. The guy, if you look here now that I've got this close-up, you see all these lines going this way. And even at the front here, there's it wise off here, and maybe just there. There's a crooked line right here, and there's another line, and so you have all these machine tooling lines that are. It printed this way. I stood this up too, so the print lines are this way, which you can see they're there. I'm talking about these machine lines that are in the whole car, lengthwise. Look at that. You see these lines going this way? Those aren't the print lines. That's what's in the file. Is all that crap, and then. They put no detail in the grill at all. Look at that. That is horrible. So this is why I don't really want to spend any more time on this, because the grill work is horrible, and the headlights are there, but barely. The parking lights down at the bottom are there, but the rest of the grill work and the front of the bumper is terrible. And then the back is just as bad. The back has got all these machine lines in it and stuff that are. Now, some of this might have happened from the support, because it was standing on, like this. So this could be a support problem, but I'm going to try printing a smaller version, sitting flat on, flat on the bottom, because it's got a perfectly flat bottom here, okay? So I'm going to try printing it this way with the wheels on it and see what I get. I'm going to make it smaller, because this is too big to fit on the bed. This, again, when you print it this way, you can make it bigger, because it's 220 by 220 by 250. So you get a little extra length. The card can be a little bigger if you print it straight up. So that's why I did it that way. But now I think I'm going to try printing it sitting flat like that, and just to see what we get. I really want to see how the front grill area and the back tail area come out printed in this position. So I'll probably do a print like that, and we'll see how that turns out. Okay, so here's another fail. Now this one was my fault, all right? And I'll tell you how that would happen. Like I said, right now it's 43 degrees out here. So the cabinet was cold, and I didn't warm it up. Usually I 220, 250 on the extruder, and 80 or 90 on the bed. And I let it stay that way until it warms up. And then once I'm convinced that it's warm enough, then I'll hit the print. Well, I didn't do that with this one. I just hit print. So I think the cabinet was too cold, and it got to here, and then it just wasn't warm enough anymore. The heat from the bed wasn't helping to make this stuff stick, and it started just not sticking. And so I stopped the print and said, okay. And again, my fault. I take responsibility for that. I should have warmed the bed, should have warmed the cabinet up before because we're trying to print 43-degree weather, which it is right now. It's you're asking the printer a lot. I know it's a closed cabinet, but still, it's asking a lot. But it's done perfect, guys. It's been perfect. So that was my fault for not warming the cabinet up before I printed. So that's how that failed. And other than that, I did break one of my, but I fixed it. It worked. But I did break one of these. Taking it off the bed, I flexed the bed too far, and it snapped one of the articulating. It's a little loop in there, and it broke the loop open like that, and it fell apart. So, and I got the little piece that broke out. So I put some super glue on it, and I put it. It took a while to fool with that, but I put it all back together, and it's fine. It's perfect now. So, and I know which one it is because I marked it. There's a mark on its head. So this is the one it broke. And it broke in here. And I can tell you which one it is. I figured it out. And I'll show you. The only reason I know which one it is because it opens more than the others. So it's right here is the one it broke. Because this gap here is huge. So it didn't glue exactly back where it was supposed to, but close enough. I mean, laying flat, this basics perfect. Okay, so you can't tell here where it broke. It's fine. But because it opens more than the rest, I know that must be where the break was. But it's fine. It fixed, and it's just as good as it can do. But I wouldn't sell it. That's why I marked it. This is a giveaway, or I'll keep it. I won't sell it. I wouldn't sell this one because I couldn't live with myself if they got it home and it broke in the same place. That's damaged goods. So. But it's fine. I mean, I can have fun with it, and I love it just as much as the rest of them. I just won't. That's why I marked it, so I won't sell it. But I might give it away. I might give it to somebody. So, all right. So let's see. What else? I think that pretty much covers all of the prints I've done and what I've done and how I did them. I also, again, this is way too much infill. This is like 15%, and it's too much. You don't need all that in there. I mean, this is almost strong enough to step on. You can almost stand on this with all that infill. You don't need it. Something that has this much, girth to it anyway, it's not going to need all that infill, okay? Now, something like R2-D2, for instance, something round. I think the pie, the 1% was plenty, I think, of infill. But this was, I think, 3 or 4%. So it's not quite, it's more of a box pattern. So there's a little bit more filament in there. And if you feel like you really need it, this thing is so solid that I don't think if there was any, I think if it was hollow, it would be this solid. Because the walls are so thick. And, I just can't believe that this would collapse without the fill in it. So, but I just thought I needed something to support the bottom here where it printed the top of the, I wanted that to stick to something. So that's why I put 1% infill, which is, like I said, it's less than this. This is like 3 or 5%, something like that. Okay. All right. Okay, so I printed another yellow one after that other one, and this one came out beautiful. We're increasing the heat, fixed it. I'm still not positive I like this filament, but it came out all right. It looks good. So let me give you a close up of it here. There's no those heat lines that are was making the bump through here are gone. It's nice and smooth. Now this particular filament does show the layer lines in here a little bit. Let me give it, yeah, and then really hard to see on this camera. This color just doesn't respond well on camera. There, you can see them there. See these? There's some layer lines here, but that's all. But it's not bubbled. It's not warped. It's good. It came out all right. So yeah. So that fixed that. So we're all right on that one now. That I did get a good print out of that, so that's fine. Okay, and then it's been a little bit time. I did some more printing. I can't stop printing, guys. I'm sorry. It's just it does such a great job. I got some more colors in. I had ordered and they finally came in. So I'll show you those. This is called red copper. I'm not positive it's the right one or not. It's supposed to turn red when it reflects the light, but it doesn't really, that I can tell. But maybe I have to print on something a little more. Well, I did, so I printed it there, and then I printed another dragon in this color, and I guess it kind of turns red in certain angles. It gets really dark coppery, but I'm not really seeing the red I thought I was going to see. So I don't know if they sent me the right filament. I think they screwed up my order, but again, it's just beautiful. I'll show you over here. It's just amazing. The detail, the eyes, the teeth on the side here, the fang right there. There's a fang right there, and no layer lines. It's just oh my God, guys! It's just amazing. This printer is fantastic. So this printed perfectly again. Absolutely no. I can't fault this printer. It's perfect. It absolutely is perfect. So you can see his nail and where it comes out of the. I'm trying to get the light just right so you can see. You see how it comes out of the bed of the skin. You can see right where the nail comes out here and there. It's just amazing. Just the detail here is unbelievable. This printer is amazing. Okay. So I did that. So now I have the gold and the copper, and very cool. And then I did one more copper vase. I blew up that same one, but I made it fatter so it'll hold more flowers. This will hold a dozen roses, no problem now. The other one might have been a little tight, but since I blew it up, it's fatter now and it's got a much bigger opening, so it's going to be super stable. Also, there's no way you're going to knock this one over. So yeah, really cool. This is a beautiful color, guys. Very, very nice. So, and then a friend of mine, she's got a living room that's she's using the aqua as a. So if you look at the frogs right here, and I'll put them on the big camera, the good camera, but yeah, we've got the little frogs that came out really good. They're really cute, and you can see their eyes. The pupils in there, that vertical thing. That's the way a frog's eye is, and they just printed perfect. Just really super nice, and this aqua color, and I printed it with a brim. So this is what it looks like with the brim. Okay, and if you wanted to, maybe, I don't know, if you wanted to stick them to a lily pad or something, you might want to leave the brim on just to give it, some more. But I did that so it wouldn't. I didn't want to take a chance of it popping off. They're kind of little, and I didn't. Their feet without the brim are pretty little, and then there's this area here, so it might have stayed on. It probably would have stayed on without the brim, but you know what? it's so easy to get the brim off of it, I decided not to risk it, and I just printed. And I printed all three at the same time. So it only took an hour, I think, or 50 minutes to print 3 frogs at once. So, and they look great. And then I had already done a smooth vase for her, so I did a fuzzy vase. So again, there's the fuzzy, and I don't know if you can see you really can't see the sparkles in this. The fuzzy is kind of taking that away, but you can see them in the frog. I think you can on the camera here. Can you see there's little sparkles in them? Yeah, you can see them on his leg there. You see how they're coming in and out as I move it through the light. So there's those little fragments of sparkles in this particular filament. And then I did one of these for also in the fat, and I also did one in the thin. And on this, I'm going to go back. I want to show you those lines I was talking about. They really show. You see the lines here now going this way? They follow the contour of on every vein. You've got these vertical lines going up. That's not a print line. That's part of just how it prints, and it really looks like, it looks like glass, like molded glass. So, and you don't see any layer lines. You can't see any layer lines, but you can see these lines. So again, just spectacular work, guys. And then one last thing I did, I had a request for a Velociraptor, so I printed this, and this was the most challenging of everything I've printed. Now, I've printed perfectly; it's beautiful, but setting it up to get it to print perfectly, on the slicer, I didn't waste any filament, but it took some time to figure it out, how to get it the least amount of waste and to get the least amount of work to clean it up. Okay, so I wanted to make sure that it didn't put any filament in its mouth. I didn't want anything that's an overhang. So if she's sitting like this, it's going to fill her mouth in here with support, and then it's going to fill her under her jaw here with support. I didn't want anything on her head, and same thing with her hands. They're going to all this stuff's going to have support under it, and then her tail. If she was in this orientation, her tail would all have support on it. So I didn't want that. So I'm not going to tell you what I did. I'm going to show you in my next video. So make sure you stick around, because we're going to talk all about infill and support and how to minimize how much you use, maximize your the quality, I guess. Maximize the quality, minimize the waste, and minimize the amount of support you need to get a good print. So I'm going to go over that. We're going to talk about that in my next video, which is coming up really quick. It won't be a week. This was a little more than a week. Sorry about that. Just been too cold. It got cold, and I haven't been able to get out in the garage and record. But it's pretty good. It's 66 in here right now, so that's pretty good. So, but anyway, and here's a close up of the Raptor. She wanted it in the blue, and I think personally that it's too shiny. I think this would have looked much better in something that didn't have this reflective shine to it. If it was a flat color, I think the skin would represent skin better, But because one of them was called blue, and I had this pretty blue vase that I showed her, she said, "Well, print it in that." So I did, and it came out really good. It looks great. Very, very. All the teeth are in the mouth. The eyeballs are there. There's a little bit of stringing on it. I got to clean off. I haven't cleaned it or anything yet. So there's a tiny bit of stringing on it. But it came out really good. It looks really good. The nails are on the feet here, the overhang here and here, you know, and then she's got the big claw on her toe here that's up in the air, and she's got flat feet, so she'll stand up. But the problem is she's nose heavy, so she's going to fall over. Now, I've thought about putting, you know, I can drill a tiny hole in the tail, you know, to balance her, you know, but it's still pretty. It's going to fall over pretty easy. So what I think I'm going to do is, I think what I'll do is I'm going to print one of these vases, the big one, with this big bottom, and I'm going to stop the print right after it prints the bottom. I'm going to stop the print and take it off the bed, and then I can glue her feet to this, and it'll act as a stand for her, and she won't fall over anymore. So I think that's what I'm going to do here. And I'm also thinking about, instead of making it round, I can change the dimension of the XY on this to make this an oval. Now, I wouldn't print it as a vase oval. Well, I might, but probably not. But I can print the base as an oval. So after I make, you know, get the base printed, I'll just stop the print and take it off the bed, and then I'd have an oval-shaped base for her to stand on. So I'm not sure I'm going to do that or not. The problem with the oval is the oval is going to be going the wrong direction to stabilize her, because the oval would be going this way, you know, around her feet this way, but she's going to try to fall this way, you know, opposite the oval. So I think I better go with the round. And I haven't decided yet if I'm going to use a different color for the base or use the blue again. But I think that's going to, if I just glue her nice flat feet to the base, then I don't have to worry about her falling over. She'll stand up just fine. And I think, yeah, that one's not quite big enough. Well, actually it is, but it might not be big enough to stabilize her from falling over. So I'll probably do one of each and we'll test it. But so that's what I got, guys. All right, so we've gone over everything. My next video is going to teach you. I'm going to do some. We're going to talk about, you know, supports and infill and when to use it and how much, and how to arrange your print on the bed to get the maximum out of it. Again, just reiterating that, you know, look in the more information below, and I'm going to have all the printers that I recommend. And there's a couple of new ones that came out that I didn't even know about when I bought this one that just came out. I've looked these over. These are my picks as if you're looking for something cheaper than this, which is going to be hard to find anything of this quality. Like I said, this is on, and look around, just Google it. You know, I only paid $4.30 for this. It retails for $5.99, and I paid $4.30 for it. So it's on sale. So look around. You know, you can probably find it for close to that price still. You know, I think mine was a Christmas special or whatever. But, you know, Creality, they're probably going to do a Valentine's Day special. I'll bet you. So if it's not on sale right now, just wait a couple more weeks, and when Valentine's Day sales come on, and it'll probably be on sale for Valentine's Day. So if you want this one at $4.30, I think it's a screaming good buy. Now there's another one that just came out. It's called Anycubic. Okay, and the link's going to be below. Looks just like this. It's the same bed pattern. It's got 3 screw jacks to run the bed up and down. The door, everything looks almost identical to this printer. It's very, very similar. And I think it's on sale right now for $4.49 or actually, it might be on sale for $3.99. It doesn't have a C in the name. I don't think it'll do carbon fiber, but it's prints at 600 millimeters a second, just like this one. It looks like a good machine. My links are going to show you a reviewer that's reviewing it for you. So, and he'll have a link to go buy it. But I wouldn't recommend just going with the links. Do a search. Just do a Google search and see if you can't find it cheaper somewhere. All right. Make sure you watch out for Shipping though, you know, if don't forget to check to make sure it's free shipping, or if the shipping's involved, make sure you compare the price with the shipping. So don't get caught up in that. And then, like I said, the only other thing which I talked about at the very beginning was, you know, how do you want to store your prints? Okay, do you want them in all one place? Um, you know, I've got, you know, this particular printer, and again, check this. The Creality printer will print. It's printing another Velociraptor right now, and I can take the card out and it still prints. Doesn't care. It loads the whole file into the computer on board. So after you've loaded it, you can take this out and it'll keep printing. This is a 2 terabyte um, thumb drive. So, and it can read 2 terabytes. Two terabytes of G files is a lot. I don't know what all the other ones are using. Some of them, I think the Cubic has a thumb drive, you know, regular USB port, but they put it on the side. Not crazy about that. I like it in the front. It's just easier to access it, especially if you're going to have it in the farm with mother machines next to it, you know. But, you know, it'll probably be okay there, but I like it in the front. That's just a personal preference. I definitely don't want to go back to the mini SD card, which is what the Bambu printer uses. You know, I did that with the Ender 3, and that was a pain in the butt. And there's only supports 32 gig as I'm making this video. I'm sure they've gotten plenty of feedback that nobody likes that idea, so they'll probably upgrade that because it's just a file change, and they can get it to accept bigger cards. But right now it'll only accept up to 32 gig. But it's still, you know, for them to redo it, it'd have to be another version to come out. They actually put a USB drive in it. So we'll see if they do that or not. Most of the other ones seem to be going to the USB drive, which is a great thing. But yeah, that's going to do it, guys. I know it's a long video. Sorry about that. I'm so excited about this printer. I just can't stop. I'm sorry. It's just going. 7 years of the Ender and not being able to get anything to print, and now everything prints. I mean, I just don't have any failures. It don't matter what I put in. Even this thing printed, you know. And it's just I can't believe, you know. My Ender would have never printed that. You know, it did these pretty well, but I still had fails. But, you know, I don't think it would have ever done this. You know, it's just, there's such a difference between 7 years ago and today. And a lot of that's due to Bambu. I got to give them credit for that. I mean, I'm not a hater. You know, Bambu's definitely the reason everybody stepped up, because they came out right out of the gate with a screaming good printer. But everybody's already caught up, and there's better ones now. He is better than that, and I know that's a great printer. You know, I'm not knocking it a bit, but you know, everybody else is caught up and have exceeded. So you know, Bambu's going to have to get busy again. So, and that's what competition does, guys. It drives quality, and I'm all for that. So good for that. So all right, guys, that's going to do it. Thanks for watching. Comments at the bottom, please. You know, I'd love to hear your comments. Like, subscribe. Got more coming. Like I said, the next one's going to be all about infill supports, how to manipulate the supports to get the best out of your prints. Don't just take how the download came, because there's better ways, and I'll explain that in the next one. So we'll see you then. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.